I was just recently on a phone call with somebody talking about vulnerability, just the fact we need to be vulnerable. It's actually extremely beneficial for us to be vulnerable, especially when we're in need, and yet it's one of the most scary things to do.
I shared a little bit. My story is way deeper, far more ugly at times than that. We inadvertently we put this mask on. We're afraid. And it's when we break through that, like the willingness to be super honest, and I know that we've got to build relationships that can take that, but when we are willing to go to that degree, that's when, it goes to another level.
You want authenticity? This is authenticity.
So one of the biggest challenges that we face is the fear of being vulnerable. When I think about so many of the struggles that I've had in my own life, they were all predicated on the fact that I was too afraid to admit that I was really struggling. I was just on a call with a client earlier, and we were talking, and I could see that there were she was hesitating. There was just some question as to some of the things that I was asking her, even her willingness to admit how she was doing in terms of like financial success, providing for herself, providing for her family. As a coach, I always feel like there's just this place that I need to step into, that I need to just take a risk and bring something up. Many people have heard the story, but one of the biggest lessons I learned was my business was doing well in 2013, and then I lost 2 big clients, actually 3 clients in like a 3-week period. And it took about 60% of my income, and I didn't know what I was gonna do. I felt like I was right back to ground zero. I was connected to this guy on LinkedIn, and long story short, we ended up at lunch together. I invited him to lunch just to learn more about him. He seemed together, accomplished, successful. We got to the end of the conversation, and I'll never forget, the first time in my life I looked somebody in the eye and I told him, I said, Dean, there's nothing I can offer you at this point. There is literally nothing that I can give to you to add value to you that I can think of. I said, but I need you. I need your connections. I need your support. I need you to help me get in front of people that are going to take my business, first of all, just back to where it was, but on to the next level. The great part of that story, at least in the short term, was 3 weeks later, he replaced every bit of income I lost with 2 referrals. But beyond that, that was a turning point for me in my career to realize that if I wasn't honest with people about where I was really at, where I was struggling, and what I really needed, not just, hey, I'm having a hard time, or hey, I'm a little bit behind, but really breaking down how significantly challenged I was in the moment, I was never gonna go anywhere. And so I've just continued on with that today, just being open about the fact, the beginning of COVID, I lost 5 figures in monthly income. That devastated me and my family financially. I had to do something about it. I got vulnerable with 2 clients, and I just told them, hey, I'm struggling, I need you to refer business to me. And so all the way back to this conversation with my client, I'm not telling her anything that I'm not doing myself. And notice that I didn't say I haven't done, but I'm not doing. I feel like one of the best ways to effectively coach people is to apply the things that I'm learning, that I'm going through, to their life as well. Because if I can walk through the fire with them, I believe I will be far more effective in helping them to relate to the situation, relate to me, and for us to get through it together. So think about this, like, as you think of vulnerability, we have been burned before by maybe a parent, a friend, a spouse or significant other. Like, there's always somebody that has hurt us on the heels of us being open and honest. We're afraid of getting hurt like that again. We're afraid of being judged for being less than. And yet the other side of it is the whole world is like that. Like, everybody fears that. Everybody's putting their best foot forward. And so Once we can break through this belief that we have to have it all together, that we can't ever show weakness, that we can't ever show where we struggle, until we do that, we will never overcome all of the challenges in our own life, and we're definitely never gonna be vulnerable in a way that will actually help us to move on to the next level for where we want in life.
How did it go yesterday?
Good.
Did you get it?
As of now, 2 beers in,
Yeah!
so
Dude, you should be like popping bottles in here this morning.
I don't pop bottles.
That's BS.
Give me some more water.
But you should be celebrating.
I am. Inside.
No. Dude, when it's not going well,
I know.
you're like this. When it's going well,
It's a little higher.
when you land a big deal, it's like this. You gotta balance
My
that
eyes
down
are
there.
fixed on the horizon.
Bull-
Distractions,
No.
good or bad.
You're full of every bit
No.
of on a bad.
It's true. That's from the heart.
Dude, come on. Be happy about it.
I'm very happy.
Woo! Like that.
This whole topic of discussion around vulnerability, this is why I love doing what I do. To be allowed into somebody else's life, to build trust, for me to gain an opportunity to help them see themselves for who they really are, to explore that, to open themselves up, to be vulnerable, to be challenged. This is why I get out of bed every single day as it relates to the professional side of my life. And so as you see these things, as you see these things kind of just open up over the course of the next couple of weeks and months, I challenge you to apply these same things to your life. Go be the best spouse, parent, friend, family member, business leader, community member, whatever it may be. You've got to be the best version of yourself. So every single night you go to bed, you want to make sure that you gave everything, 100% of yourself that day to become the best of whatever you're called to.